Time for the final match between Acer's Nerchio and Azubu's viOLet. Couldn't be more excited because one of these players will be going to the grand final after this game.
They will, and you know, the step up in cash, pretty good here from the semis to the final. So guys, without further ado, I am Legutsa Kylaris.
I'm Dat Day 9. Let's hop into the game. Up in the top left corner, from Team Acer, will he be able to take the win in this game number 5? If you want him to, give a cheer for Nerchio.
Spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner of Entombed Valley as our red Zerg. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for Azubu's viOLet.
Gosh, this is such a terrifying map to be the last one in the series. I mean, Metropolis I'd almost prefer as a Zerg player as the final match, because I think, okay, I get to do a long game. Sure, he can do some aggressive stuff, but doesn't matter. I can always pull it off as long as I stay calm. But here, it could literally be a 6-pool, 10-pool, Speedling, 1-baseling, Baneling, Bust, all work a lot better on this map than on any other map. God, these positions are as close as they can physically be.
Especially on this map specifically, I've seen actually Nerchio fall to things such as that very early hatch with all drones being pulled and Spine being thrown up on the creep of your opponent as well. And even on, it was in these exact spawning positions as well. So in comparison to the rest of the maps we've had, not so much Ohana because again, those rush distances are pretty small there as well. But this is really going to be the test of how well people can play under the pressure of always knowing that that looming threat could occur.
I mean, both of them now have that big moment in gameplay where they realize, oh, thank God my opponent's early expanding. Oh, thank goodness. Both of them literally doing identical builds up to this point in time. You see that the spawning pools lined up, the hatcheries lined up. Somehow Nerchio at 17 of 16. There it is, the gas geysers going down at approximately the same time. So it is as a mirror matchup can be thus far, Kylaris.
Yep, with that spawning pool on the way at exactly the same time. Neither player really going to have that speed window to be able to exploit. Again, we might see Nerchio go for that wave of 12 lings that he's been going for the past couple of games, but it's had varying degrees of success. In the first game he went for it, it was fantastic with those 2 banelings, but in the second game he went for it, it did nothing, thanks to the fact that viOLet was just able to put on that counter-aggression before it could even occur.
Oh gosh, it's so crazy the way that both these players have gotten the big edge is with viOLet doing aggressive counterattacking and with Nerchio doing big direct attacking. Even in the games that viOLet's lost, he's been trying to go for those counters again and again and again and again. And in this match, I think the big key for Nerchio is going to be to mount one of those offensives that bait in a counterattack at the wrong time. Games 2 and 3 fell to Nerchio in that exact fashion.
So we'll have the queens popping for each player now here. The double queen production, so important at this point. Again, having that lava in place just means you're able to not only stabilize against your opponent if they've gone for that build as well, but also being able to throw down that aggression if you want to. And there we go, viOLet throwing down that baneliness once again, still at the front. It is a double-edged sword. Personally, I'm not a fan because it's so vulnerable, but it can work in terms of that SimCity.
Oh God, I'm just getting nervous. The Spine Crawler is up for viOLet, but it doesn't cover this right side. Nerchio is absolutely going to count on that, and this is the timing when Nerchio floods his Zerglings right when this Overlord pops. He actually is a little bit supply blocked right now. Against his will, I would presume. This doesn't look like it's part of any build, but this is generally when that flood of lings happens for Nerchio, and he starts to really get aggressive. viOLet making 6 lings. There's the 10 Zerglings coming out for Nerchio, so it looks like viOLet will rearrange just a little bit, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get a good angle.
Yeah, with that Spine Crawler going there, it's pretty good, and he will be able to focus down those banelings, which is always very, very useful for that. Nerchio, though, is throwing down his own Spine Crawler here, assuming that there could be some potential aggression from his opponent, and I think this is a wise decision after the last game at least, but on this map, in these spawning positions, it's so difficult to really traverse the map without your opponent actually knowing. It was just a case that, ooh, that one Zergling does spot up, but doesn't really get any intel.
Did he actually get to see the morphing layer?
I think so.
Like, yes, he actually did. And they're the Zerglings from Nerchio. Get in, and a missed detonation. Oh, that's bad news for viOLet. He now has everything completely open. The front, I mean, he does kill this off, but viOLet lost a Baneling for virtually nothing. It's fairly even in the units lost tab, but that was a good bit of gas lost from Nerchio's detonation.
Yep, and other than that, we do have the double extractors going down here at the natural. For both players here, already getting up to those 4 gas gases pretty darn quickly. I'm wondering how we're going to see both players transition. I mean, there is always the potential for that Spire tech once again, but there's so much of the map here really to be used by that from the right-hand side. But again, if you're able to kind of zone that out with, you know, Spore Crawlers at the extremities, there you go, there's the Spire on the way for both of the players.
Really?
So
this game is going to be decided by a proxy Muta versus Muta battle. I'm going to be honest, taking a third base is hell in these positions. I mean, they're taking it, but these little destructible rocks, you know, Lings can come up here and kill these Lings off. Both players kind of in this position. Nerchio actually taking the opportunity. Does he see that the rocks are being hurt? He's just a few hexes away. viOLet now moving forward. Oh no, these Banelings completely out in the middle of nowhere. Nerchio sees it.
He does. He sends 2 Zerglings on to be able to actually deal with that. Meanwhile, he's probably going to get a cancel here. He's so fast in comparison to his opponent. If he just micros his heart out against the Lings alone, then actually he might be able to actually get a pretty good engagement here. How many Lings does he have to Lings? Looks like he will be able to move back once again here, moving out of the threat of the Baneling aggression. And nope, it's just going to... This is so close.
Narrowly pulls it off. But with a single Zergling being exchanged for a single Baneling, both of them getting very close to finish on that Mutalisk count. More Zerglings streaming in for viOLet. Nerchio will have this at a very, very low amount of hit points. It will probably pop it with around 550 or so. So Nerchio will always have the opportunity to try to kill that off if he so desires.
An attempt there from viOLet to put on some pressure at his opponent's third. Not really going to be able to do too much there, though, either. 8 Mutalisks coming out against 9 Mutalisks coming out at this point here. viOLet just doesn't have as much in terms of income as Nerchio does. Just that 5 drone difference can mean the difference between that 1 extra Mutalisk. And at this point, I mean, Nerchio, I think he's just going to transition. Yeah, there we go. There's the Roach Warren here. Getting just 1 wave of Mutalisks in these spots on this map, I feel, is a very, very good choice. I don't think Mutalisks are going to be able to pincer in.
He's going to get the hatchery. This is going to be huge. And there the Mutalisks reveal themselves, and it gets transfused down to 250, 200, 150, and he manages to keep it alive. What a nice play. And now Nerchio reveals his Mutalisks as well.
Really, really nicely done there with the transfuse. It would have only had 25 health left if that transfuse hadn't have gone down, and that is cutting it way too close, Sean.
Accidental double Roach Warren from Nerchio up in the main base.
Hello.
Expansion hatch now quite vulnerable, but it's going to be another Ling sack from viOLet this time.
Yeah, and with the... Actually, is this accidental? He might actually go for both upgrades at the same time. I know it would be just ridiculous, but why would you do that at this point? I mean, both players have actual carapace on the way now for one another, and he does let that second Roach Warren finish. But we have the, you know... At this point in time, we still have very, very close Mutalisk counts. Both players still committing to it. So right now, with that little bit extra carapace on the way for Nerchio, it's going to be a reversal of game number 1. If viOLet takes a bad engagement, then that'll be terrible.
And he goes straight for it, and he gets it down. Will he be able to leave with the life of most of his Zerglings? Yes, he does manage to get most of the Zerglings out of there successfully. And now it's going to be all defense mode for Nerchio. He's got to kill off these destructible rocks. Holy God, he's got to kill off those rocks. Kill off the rocks. Oh my God. And Mutalisks don't really kill rocks too quickly, not Zerglings, but together they're a formation worthy of valor. As for now, we have that creep being spread here by Nerchio. Really wants to connect those bases up very, very fast here. Unit counting station, 19 Mutalisks to 18. But oh dear me, the carapace once again is going to finish up for Nerchio in just a second. And if this engagement happens, oh my God!
Finished.
No, his +1's done. This means that viOLet is at a huge disadvantage for the next 20 seconds. We see that this Overlord is going to go down, but Nerchio doesn't want to engage. He's having memories back to game number 1 when he got a little bit over eager. But right now, all Nerchio needs to do is just go Lings and Mutalisks and stay very calm. By doing that, he's going to slowly get the lead, but now it looks like viOLet's swinging around and Nerchio's unprepared.
Yeah, and now with that +1 carapace already kicking in here for viOLet as well, that means he's not really actually going to have the advantage that he would have had prior to this, and he looks like he's actually going to go for this. It looks like we have way more Mutalisks here for viOLet than Nerchio does. If he picks off this natural, that will be absolutely catastrophic for Nerchio.
Oh my god, viOLet has just too many Mutalisks. Nerchio's underprepared. Where are the queens? There they step into action. He manages to get off some nice transfuses, keeping some of his Mutalisks alive. It's 13-18 still.
Yeah, still very, very scary indeed. With the Queen's extra DPS, but he's actually going to go for a run by at the third here, trying to surround it once again if he's able to get this hatchery. There's still a little bit of energy for transfuse. He's going to be able to throw a few down here.
Mutalisks coming down, and it looks like he will not be able to get the hatch in time. He gets it.
Nerchio, how does he always kill off a third and somehow manage to save his own bases at the same time?
Nerchio's got to hightail it back to his own base as quickly as he can. He's behind by 4 Mutalisks. Soon enough, he'll be behind by 6 or so. God, it's all going to come down to this queen count from Nerchio that is very high at a whopping 6, and there the engagement begins.
Transfuse. So important here. That queen DPS, as we said before, also helping out immensely here against the queens, against the Mutalisks even right now, trying to focus down some of these extractors, trying to get some of that guaranteed damage, and at the same time we have Zerglings running into the third here for viOLet, trying to chew through all of the Zerglings, and if they end up going down, that queen will be vulnerable to limit him to the lava. They're just going to sit around for now.
God, Nerchio is on point with this Zergling production, but his Mutalisk count is getting dangerously low. We're seeing the queen step into action. The transfuses are doing decent jobs, but still, by killing off all of these extractors, viOLet is far ahead in the Mutalisk count, and there's really not that much that Nerchio's been able to do to catch up.
Yeah, there was a point there where he was evening up the Mutalisk count, but again, that limitation of the extractors means that he can replenish much quicker. So both of those factors really negated one another going into that. Right now, we have Nerchio once again trying to move down, see if there's a third location to deny again, but at this point in time, viOLet is only just re-establishing that.
God, such a tense Zerg versus Zerg moment. Nerchio trying to run every which way with his Zerglings, and he's going to sneak in again. My God, if he gets another kill on this hatch, that would be just an uncanny play.
Yep, there we have the Mutalisks. I think viOLet's realized this. He's pegged it. He's going to keep his Mutalisks around here.
This is so bad. viOLet is going to lose a giant pack of Overlords, and Nerchio still have to be careful. Not every single Mutalisk counts.
Well, it was so important there. The +1 only just finished up for Nerchio during the engagement, whilst the +1 had already been done there for viOLet. So if he didn't engage, they have very similar Mutalisk counts, but he had the +1 for just 1 or 2 more volleys there. Could have been really, really pivotal. Nerchio pulling back nicely.
There's yet again another pick off, getting 1 extractor. Can he get 2? Would be a big win. Looks like Nerchio's been able to equalize. There's a big Ling battle at the top side, but Nerchio lands the big Baneling hits. But at the bottom, there's another engagement of Muta versus Muta. Can he get the transfuses up? He is transfusing plenty of those Mutalisks, and Nerchio is slowly pulling very far ahead.
This is his 12 Mutalisks to 13 Mutalisks right now. Nerchio is taking the initiative by getting that +2 weapons much quicker here than viOLet. viOLet, in response to what's happened during this entire game, getting that 4th quickly, but actually cancels as he feels under a little bit of threat from the Zerglings running down through the middle of the map. So that's, unless that was just a complete fumble, why would he cancel that if he has these Mutalisks and Zerglings?
I mean, that's just going to be a sacked base. There's no way that viOLet would have been able to deal with it, given the amount of Zerglings that we're seeing pop out of Nerchio. 28 Zerglings on the map for both players. Overlord's still a little bit vulnerable, but viOLet has plenty of food left over.
Getting even more Overlords there. viOLet not really near actual being supply blocked here, but right now, he has the Mutalisk lead as well. So he's going to go into that engagement. Some of them are very low, though. He needs to be very careful here as Nerchio will free him.
God, every engagement is nail-bitingly close. The heroes of this game, these 6 queens that have so much transfuses among them.
With that, I mean, Nerchio at this point still stable on the 3 base. Right now, drone count 57 to 44, Sean. So that is telling the tale in itself. He's 40 supply almost ahead right now with a lot of Mutalisks, still 22 to 21. But again, that Zergling threat ever present.
Oh my God, a transition to Infestors now coming up. What a play from Nerchio. That's a very dangerous move, but if he can manage to get just one fungal up, that will pull him ahead. And the ticket to getting that up are going to be these counter-attacking Zerglings. Nerchio just continues to shove back to that side, and suddenly viOLet's thinking, gosh, I can't move out. I can't really put on that big play because I know I'll lose that base that I so desperately need. Fourth now going up for Nerchio. Everything's looking to be in his favor, but there is a big timing window where viOLet can strike with the Mutalisk lead before the Infestors are ready.
I still don't know whether or not that will work. I mean, with the +2 weapons that Nerchio has on his Mutalisks, it's going to be difficult here for viOLet to make much happen. It's all going to revolve around this Pathogen Glance coming out. It's all going to revolve around those Infestors coming out for viOLet, along with the Roaches. Going to be, wait a minute, where is he actually getting Pathogen Glance? Am I completely on about the wrong person here? I think I am, yeah. Nerchio has Pathogen Glance on the way, landing those fungal growths, chaining that stuff on the very clumped up Mutalisks of viOLet could be absolutely devastating for him.
Gosh, this is going to be really intense. 5 Infestors in production. And plenty of Roaches about to pop. Is this really his 3rd Roach, Warren?
Oh.
Nerchio has got to be the most nervous player of all time. And there he manages to pick off the hatchery. Despite these nerve issues, Nerchio is playing brilliantly. Dude, he has 3 Roach Warrens. This kid is freaking out.
I don't even know if it's nerve issues, you know. Like, you see a lot of pros doing this, and it's just like autopilot. Like, well, you know, I think it's time to build Roaches, time to go Roach Warren, yeah. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, I already have 2?
Yeah, I feel like he just went into autopilot transition mode so many times. But
yeah.
Where are the Infestors? Oh, man. There's a big engagement, and viOLet's starting to pull back. He's chasing him down. And there's the Infestor waiting to get it, and it doesn't go down.
Okay, to give you a bit of scale of this, 41 Mutalisks to 20 set 5 right now. Fungals are going to be everything here for Nerchio. He is up in supply, yes, and he does have that queen, those queens marching over the map to be able to complement his force. But those fungals need to be so good, and those, oh my god, they're so clumped up, I'm really, really scared.
Oh my god, viOLet has so many more Mutalisks, 41 on the field. I can't believe the Mutalisk count is so high. And now it looks like viOLet is leading with a few Mutalisks to make sure that there's no Infestors around.
Infestors. Where are the Infestors?
Oh, and he manages to get away. Nerchio needs to pull back. Nerchio immediately loses a bunch of Mutalisks for nothing.
There's an infestation pit on the way for viOLet as well here. Just one fungal growth could be absolutely catastrophic for viOLet here. Flying around
and
with
he gets a big pack.
Oh, he does.
And that immediately drops the Mutalisk count from Nerchio by 10. He can't pick off a Roach Warren because there's too many.
Still tries to get the, he gets the infestation pit.
Oh no,
but he's trapped.
No, he's trapped. He's trapped up at the top side. Where can he go? He's trying to spread his Mutalisk up, but there's the fungal. He gets it down. Nerchio dealing massive damage. A viOLet trying his best to escape. It's not gonna work. Nerchio absolutely wrecks the Mutalisk count of viOLet.
Plummeting in supply, they're losing almost every single Mutalisk, down to 3 against 25 right now of Nerchio. He is trying to hit this 4th base here with Zerglings, but so many Zerglings swinging in for the defense there for Nerchio. 100 supply ahead, and right now adding on those Roaches. viOLet looking in such a bad position.
Nerchio with an army of death moving down the map. viOLet, who just lost so much supply with a single fungal. Nerchio streaming down to the 3rd base to try to take it out yet again. Mutalisks, everything stampeding down. I can't believe it. Did Nerchio just knock down back-to-back GSL Code S players?
Oh, what a potential way to close out this game, though, Sean. Tending the Zerglings over to that 3rd base, as for now, Mutalisks killing everything along with those Roaches at the natural of viOLet. Down 150 supply. The Mutalisks trying to escape from opposing Mutalisks, and this natural, this 3rd, every single angle of viOLet's base is completely under assault.
I don't believe it. viOLet trying to get anything he can. Good game! Nerchio advances to the grand finals of IEM GamesCom.
Nerchio, it seems that Germany is his place to be in terms of tournament results, making it through, winning Home Story Cup 5, advancing on to the finals here for GamesCom. Give a round of applause for Nerchio!
Gosh, what a tense series. I mean, Nerchio having that lead of workers by just 6 or 7 at the start of the game allowed him to get an extra queen, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and that is the only way he was able to hold on against that Mutalisk onslaught, and he just kept counterattacking with the Zerglings. I mean, minerals for the Lings, minerals for the queens, all of it just so brilliant the way that Nerchio pulled off that early game lead.
Yeah, very fantastic. It was such an awesome ZVZ series that it's actually, now that I can't think of another ZV series that has been that back and forth, that hectic, that very, very well done by both players. That was really good.
Well, let's throw it to the main stage with Jarrett to interview our winner, Nerchio.
Nerchio! That was an intensely close series, very exciting. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, actually, that's pretty amazing. The last game was so shaky, and yeah, you know. Yeah, I'm still shaky, really.
I would be too. In the finals, you're going to face either MVP or Vortex. Do you have a preference?
Actually, I think I would like to play MVP because Vortex gives me a lot of trouble lately, so yeah.
And do you have a message for all of your fans, of which there are many here and many more online?
Yeah, thank you for being here. Cheer for me in the final. Yeah, thank you.
Good luck in the final. And I'm going to turn it over to Tastosis for some analysis.
Damn! Talk about a sick final game, 6 series actually.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was crazy, man. That many mutas in a ZVZ. They both played so carefully.
It's funny because that game, like the game that was previous to it, we were sitting there going, well, what part do we actually highlight? Because there's so much stuff that actually went on there. So what we're going to show you guys, and it's right at the end because we think it's the most important part. In fact, I think we should probably pause it right about here. Is the moment where the mutas are actually navigating around the map, because that's actually an interesting situation that we occasionally see in StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1. We normally saw this more in StarCraft 1 with carriers. So as you can see, there's a ton of mutas here.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot more
It's
for
45, in fact.
Now,
that's crazy.
No, slow down here, Joseph. So as you can see, he's coming in here towards the main. Now, the problem, or not the problem, but the burden when you have a ton of air units like this is that they're moving in a giant clump. It's your entire army. You can move anywhere, and because you can move anywhere, that it's convenient. But also the problem is that you have to make sure you follow the correct pattern. Yeah. And here, what happens is it was like a game of speed chess, and basically viOLet got checkmated in the upper left-hand corner. So let's watch that really slowly here.
So he sees the infestors coming up. He gets mostly out of the way. Losing those few mutas is painful, but it's not game-ending.
Now see, here's a mistake. If we could pause for just 1 second. He got greedy. He saw the tech tree here, and he said, well, I have more mutas, so I might as well, I could probably win a fight, I might as well hit this infestor pit, because the infestors are actually the scary thing during this battle. But the problem is that look at the map. The map is obviously it's square-shaped, and he's in the corner. So even if Nerchio engages the mutas here, muta versus muta, if they try to leave, they're going to be taking damage. So they have to stay and fight. But then the infestors could come in here and fungal them. And since there's no room on the screen, or on the map rather, to go anywhere, he just gets stuck.
And they get so clumped up here as well. Remember the Cloud Kingdom game where there were just 4 infestors. He just barely could not kill everything. But with 6 here, plus having some mutas, plus having some queens mixed in.
So, yeah, exactly. So you see, he thought about leaving. He saw the infestors, got pushed up here, and then he tried to fan out. He realizes, oh my God, there's something I can do. And that is exactly what cost him the game. This game would look entirely different. I don't even know who would have won had this not happened.
Yeah.
What he should have done is actually, after he was at the third base, he should have just gone south.
Yeah, you know, the infestors, they were on his tail. He just needed to stay away from those. But of course, after losing that many mutas, the game is just going to end.
Yeah, I mean, he was splitting up those units for the entire game. So, really cool stuff. We're going to be going on to the next match here coming up. So stay tuned here at IEM.